This is the intro. Just imagine that there's Eye of the Tiger music playing and a lot of heavy breathing. Alright guys, I know you can't really see my face, which is the most important part of the video. We're going to have to make a sacrifice and we'll go over this. So this is a Holley Mid-Mount Kit. I did something a little bit different. This was not completely my idea. I was given this idea as a suggestion in the comments, referencing another video by a channel called Fanatic Builds, where he did something very similar to this. Essentially, this is a Holley Mid-Mount Kit, and this is what I wanted to use for my build, but it's a very expensive kit. So this kit is normally $2,100, around that range. There's a black version of it that's like another $1,000 or something like that. They're pretty expensive to do it. But what you can do is you can buy the manifold from Holley, and you can buy all of the other pieces individually. The stuff I got from Holley was the AC port, the balancer comes from Holley, cooling manifold, thermostat housing, and thermostat, which you could probably get anywhere, and then the water pump. Stuff that I got not from Holley was the AC compressor, which I got from Dirty Dingo, the pulley for the power steering pump, which I got on eBay, and then the power steering pump. And I also just realized there's a tensioner that I have in a box somewhere, and I'm not sure where that is right now. The tensioner from Holley is about $125, and I ended up getting the tensioner for $23, which is a savings of $100. This is a Sandon SD7 AC compressor. Holley price is $393, and I got it for $254 from Dirty Dingo. So that was a savings of $138. Power steering pump is a Saginaw Type 2 power steering pump. It's just like a regular LS power steering pump. Holley price is $326, and I got it for $115 on eBay, so that was a $200 savings. The Holley price for the power steering pump pulley is like $71, and I ended up getting this on eBay for like 26 bucks. $28, so this is a $43 savings on this. And what I think is interesting, on the Holley site, if you look at the picture of the power steering pump pulley for this kit, that when they have it on the site, you can see the GM logo and the part number on the pulley on the Holley website. So they're selling it on Holley for like $71, and you can get them on eBay for like 26 bucks, under 30 bucks. So it's probably not a genuine GM if it's made in China. So the other massive savings on this is going to be the alternator. So the Holley kit comes with the premium Holley Alternator, which is normally like a $400 some alternator. And then my solution for that is I'm just going to use this guy right here. So I'm going to use a regular truck alternator, and then I'm just going to put a little wing ding off the side of the alternator. So I do have a spreadsheet for all this stuff with the part numbers and where I got everything. So I'll put that in the video, and I'll probably put it up at the end of the video just so you can look at it. So I'm going to get started on mounting this stuff just so you can see what it looks like, and then I'll do the alternator modification, and I'll show you that. Alright, so this kit, what is special about this kit, and why did I want to do this? So my frame rail and everything would need to be modified down here if I wanted to keep the AC on the low end. So what this kit does is it brings everything in real tight to the engine, but the downside is that it does push everything forward. So if you're limited on space in the front, it does pull it forward about 1.5 inches. I'm not really limited on space in the front, so I was able to do that. But what this does is it actually puts the AC compressor about right here, right in front of the head, instead of way up and out off to the side here where it's going to be hitting my manifold. So I didn't have room for the stock one down here. I didn't have room for like one of the other kits that would come up this way. And then the issue with the alternator, like a factory mount, it has the alternator way up here. This brings the alternator down a little bit farther, like in front of the head. But the issue with this style truck alternator is the stud comes off the back here. So the stud would actually be hitting the head. So what you need to do is have the stud that comes out of the side. So the newer style 2015 and up alternators have the stud coming out the side. But those are the alternators that have the 2-wire pulse width modulated control, and you can't run it necessarily with like a Holley that just has the single wire control. You have a few possible options. You can run the newer style alternator with the stud out of the side and then find a way to pulse width modulate, control it, or you can use that style alternator and then change the regulator inside of it. And there's some videos out there about changing the regulator, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come off the side of it here. So I'm going to take this sleeve off. This rectifier stud has a sleeve on it, so I'm going to pull that sleeve off, and then I'll be able to bring this down here. I'll probably have to modify this housing a little bit, and I'm going to shorten that stud up. So what I'll be able to do is take this long stud, put this thing on there, and then cut the extra part off of the stud, and then I'll be able to modify the housing to make it come out of the side. Okay, so here's the alternator now. I got this all done. It took me about 15 minutes to do this. I can insert some pictures. I just kind of notched out the cover, and for now I just put a little vacuum cap on the back, so that would technically still have a positive charge on it. So I just stuck a little vacuum cap on it for now. So the Holley Premium Alternator is $407. This little 90-degree fitting was like 11 bucks. That saved almost $400 just doing that. And now if the alternator fails, because you can still have an alternator failure, if this alternator fails, I can just grab another one from the junkyard for 20 bucks or buy a new used one for whatever price it is, put this little thing on it. You're not having to buy another $407 Holley Premium Alternator. Okay, well here this thing is all mocked up. The alternator actually fits great, and I'll be able to go, you know, underneath with the wiring or whatever I need to do. It clears the header pretty nice. I could go up or down. I did end up getting the wrong fitting. There's a couple different kinds of fittings on here, so this fitting isn't actually going to fit. So I just ordered the wrong one. There's one that goes straight out, so I'll have to figure out what I want to do with that. This is aluminum, so I would be able to weld it, so I might actually just take this piece and modify it. You know, I could just drill some holes in here and then modify this piece and go up if I wanted to. But now that this is on, this is all the farther that I'm going to go. I just wanted this in place so I can start mocking up the intercooler piping that goes to the intake. I do have the throttle body now, so I'll put the intercooler and everything back on and get the radiator in place, and then I'll see how much clearance I have. Alright, got all this stuff back together, got the intake on, throttle body on, everything looks pretty good. So that is the budget Holley mid-mount setup, and hopefully that helps somebody. And I'll leave the spreadsheet with the part numbers at the end of the video.